Tô derretendo fácil, irmão.
A luta entre Jean Silva e Diego Lopes vai ser realmente explosiva, emocionante. E o Jean Silva já está falando tanto que nem tem dúvida. O fim dela vai ser ainda mais impactante, mas antes convido o pessoal a se inscrever no canal, deixar aquele like e comentar, que é muito importante pra gente. Obrigado. O Diego Lopes até agora não conseguiu nem me olhar na cara. Imagina como vai ser na luta. Os fãs vão ver MMA de alta qualidade e um boxeador igual o Canelo Álvares batendo num cara que não sabe se é brasileiro ou mexicano. Vou bater num cara que não sabe se é mexicano ou brasileiro. Vou pegar o cinturão e defender quantas vezes Deus deixar. Vou quebrar Diego Lopes. O Jean Silva é aquele tipo de lutador arrojado, lutando e falando. E aqui, ele não vai deixar o Diego Lopes em paz. Mas ele tem que tomar cuidado. Porque contra o Bryce Mitchell, ele falou tanto que até viu muita gente se voltar contra ele. E olha que o Bryce Mitchell é um bad boy americano. Mas mesmo assim, o pessoal achou que ele exagerou. O Diego Lopes é o contrário. O Diego Lopes é um dos caras mais legais do MMA. Então, muita gente, até maior do que foi, vai se voltar contra o Jean Silva. Nesse trash talk forte que ele faz, que a gente sabe que é para promover a luta. Mas muita gente ainda não entende. O próprio Diego Lopes, a gente também sabe que não entende muito essa diferença. O Diego Lopes, recentemente, ele falou que qual é do Jean Silva? Ele gosta de mim ou não? Ele quer ser meu amigo ou não? Aqui, o Jean Silva, para ele, tanto faz como tanto fez. Antes, tem o Diego Lopes adversário. Depois, sim, vem o Diego Lopes podendo ser seu amigo ou não. Esses dois vão resolver suas diferenças na luta. E o Jean Silva mostra que a confiança que ele já tinha e era grande está agora cada vez maior. Olha o que ele fala. Falando que vai ser o Canelo do UFC. Para quem não sabe, Canelo Álvares é uma lenda do boxe. E ele promete que o fim do Diego Lopes não vai ser legal, porque mão por mão, a do Jean Silva é mais afiada, poderosa. Ainda não satisfeito, o Jean Silva, que é um cara inteligente, apesar de ser louco, não perdoa esse lance do Diego Lopes ser brasileiro-mexicano. Ele consegue usar isso, obviamente, contra o Diego Lopes. E era algo que, obviamente, se o Diego Lopes enfrentasse um lutador de trash talk, iria fazer. O Jean Silva, sendo brasileiro, o que ele pensa? Ué, você é brasileiro ou você é mexicano? Hoje em dia, dá para se dizer que o Diego Lopes é mais mexicano do que brasileiro. E não tem nada errado nisso. Só que para um lutador que vai enfrentar o Diego Lopes, isso acaba virando uma arma. O Jean Silva vai usar da pior forma possível para dar ainda mais impacto nessa rivalidade, que sempre foi uma rivalidade que o Jean Silva buscou. Quem não se lembra daquela história que o Jean Silva revelou, e aí a gente nem sabe se foi inventado ou não, que tinha uma reunião, o Jean Silva falou que o Diego Lopes cumprimentou todo mundo, mas não muito ele. Ali que nasceu essa treta. Eu acho um pouco difícil, porque o Diego Lopes é muito legal. Não tem esse perfil de ignorar um e cumprimentar os outros. Mas o Jean Silva, e o Jean Silva você sabe como é que ele é. É exagerado. Então ele gosta desse ambiente caótico e está fazendo de tudo para levar o Diego Lopes para essa zona. Por quê? Além de ser a zona do Jean Silva, ele sabe que o Diego Lopes não curte. Fica até um tanto quanto deslocado. Aqui, o Jean Silva, na minha visão, vai fazer uma guerra psicológica contra o Diego Lopes muito forte. Antes mesmo da luta, eu nem falo da luta em si. Aquela reação que o Diego Lopes teve contra o Yair Rodrigues na coletiva de imprensa é uma rivalidade real ali, não é nada forçado. O Jean Silva está tentando forçar uma rivalidade com o Diego Lopes. E eu não sei como o Diego Lopes vai reagir. A certeza que a gente tem é que ele não gosta desse tipo de conflito. E nem sabe fazer o trash talk. Jean Silva vai atormentá-lo. Eu repito, é uma certeza. Resta saber também como que o Jean Silva vai lidar com as críticas que ele vai receber por atacar um lutador tão querido do público. Quanto mais um lutador fala, ele coloca ainda mais responsabilidade e pressão nele mesmo. O Ilia Topuria contra o Charles do Bronx falou muito e fez. Renato Moicano contra o Benil Darius falou muito e não fez nada. Jean Silva vai ser qual o caminho aqui? Quanto mais um lutador promete, essas promessas os fãs não esquecem. Ou ele vira mito, ou ele se perde no caminho e passa até a ser desrespeitado por muita gente. O que vocês acham dessa rivalidade e dessas frases fortes que o Jean Silva solta para o Diego Lopes? Deixe seu comentário, deixe seu like no vídeo, sua inscrição no canal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is yet another Derek Lewis main event in the big 2025. And I think it's a big problem, to be brutally honest with you. And I'm here to save this division and actually make it great again. Because I'm not too mad about the Derek Lewis main event. I'm not too upset about Derek Lewis getting a main event because he is ranked, so it makes a deal. But he's had, 29 fights in the UFC? 30 fights in the UFC? Tyson Teixeira's had one. And it's really showing me how shallow this division is. He's had one fight in the UFC, and it's against Justin Tafa. And he's ranked off of it. That's all you need in this sport. Whereas Derek Lewis, he's actually kind of decent career. He's actually really cool. My balls was like, he's cool. He's cool. But I'm here to make heavyweight great again. And I've put forward this presentation to you. And I've broken it down into 4 things that we need to do to fix this. And there are 4 things that are actually very easy. There's really 3 main ones. And then the 4th one is there if we're really desperate. If we are really desperate for things, that 4th one is there. But the main 3 that we're going to be looking into are really the lack of contenders in this division. Not just for Tom Aspinall, but for like that top 5. The number 1 ranked to 5th ranked, the 6 to 10, the 11 to 15, the unranked. There's not many. It's the most shallow division that the UFC has, and it absolutely sucks. I'm here to fix that. Tom Aspinall. I'm going to explain him when we get to him, because there's a couple ways I can go about it, but there's the main one that I want to talk about. Fatness. I think you know where I'm going with the fatness comment. I think you can already tell. And then the last one. Bit there. Weight limit. Get rid of the weight limit. 265, gone. You can now be 400 pounds, 700 pounds, a ton. I don't care. Let's just do no weight. But I'll get into that. And I've kind of ordered them into most important to least important, where it's really starting with that lack of contenders. Like, I look at that 1 to 6. Waldo Cortez Acosta is a 6th rank heavyweight. Waldo Cortez Acosta is the 6th rank heavyweight. But when I kind of look at this top 5, like the top 5 is actually quite good. Like, I'm looking at Jailton Almeida, I'm looking at Curtis Blades, I'm looking at Pavlovich, I'm looking at Volkov, I'm looking at Cyril Gane. That top 5 is actually really solid. It's actually a really, really good top 5. And a couple of them, Tom Aspinall hasn't fought yet. You got to think of that as a champion. Like, as a champion, have they fought the top 5 of their contenders? Because that's what's happening with Pantoja. He's beaten fucking everybody, and we're doing rematches, trilogies. Merab has beat a majority of them. Volk has been a majority of them. I know Movsar's there. But these guys have beaten a lot of their contenders, where a lot of champions actually just haven't. Where I look at Tom Aspinall, he hasn't fought Gane yet, and he hasn't fought an Almeida yet, and Waldo Cortez Acosta. So, he's fought Blades twice, and the first one's a little bit different. He's fought Pavlovich, and he's fought Volkov. I believe Volkov is going to get another title shot, because from the rumors, Volkov is fighting Jailton Almeida. The winner of that will be fighting for the belt. I will pick Jailton Almeida to win that fight, but I think Volkov does have a very good chance, don't get me wrong. But the top 6 kind of okay, and Waldo Cortez Acosta, if he, because he's fighting Sergey Pavlovich next, if he beats Pavlovich, Waldo Cortez Acosta is going to be a title defense for Tom Aspinall. That's like JDM defending his belt against Jeff. No, it's not even Jeff Neal. It's like, what's his name? I know his name and I can't think of it. Who's the Argentinian dude? Fuck. He just got knocked out by Daniel Rodriguez. Oh my god. Santiago Ponzinibbio. Like, it's like that. We are so down low for heavyweight. And we look at
Porra,
this,
mano, é bem o 2
oh
que
my
tá
god.
faltando.
Martian Tybura.
Caralho.
Sergey Spivak. Derek Lewis. Taito Ivasa.
Ok, Spivak.
Mick Parkin. Taliesin Teixeira. Martin Bidet. And Rizvan Kuniev. The thing that annoys me about these rankings is I'm looking at Rizvan Kuniev. He lost
Bota outro
to
4 aqui.
Curtis Blades. Rizvan Kuniev just had his UFC debut at UFC Baku against Blades. It was already stupid in itself to be
Mano,
fighting
ajuda
a
também.
top 5 guy on your UFC debut, but he did very, very well. He lost, and he's ranked 15th. I just don't understand how that works. I don't understand how you lose a decision and you still get ranked. That's how shit this division is. And even when we look at the unranked guys, like I'm looking at Junior Tafa, Justin Tafa, oh my god, Austin Lane, what's Usman? Muhammad Usman. Like we are so down low for these contenders, and we're really lacking. We're really fucking lacking. I've got a way to fix it. And I've got one way to fix it and one way to fix it only. This should have an S. It should be move light heavy weights. That's what it should be an S here. So just bear with me. This is supposed to be an S right here. Move light heavy weights. I look at Kennedy Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu is on a bit of a run at heavyweight, former light heavyweight. You're telling me that Johnny Walker or Jamal Hill, as dog shit as they are, could move up and do well? I look at Johnny Walker and Jamal Hill. They could beat Martian Tybura. Could they not?
I quit. I'm not even playing anymore. I don't like chess. I retire. I will stick to giving away money and just making YouTube videos. Chess is a lot harder than I thought it was, and
You should have won that game. You should have won that
I should have. Oh my goodness. Oh well, actually, no. It's like I'm on. This is the one I win because I completely blunder one, or I do well, then I blunder one, then I do well.
Mhm.
So following a
Exactly,
rotation,
yep.
this is a good one. Plus 21. Yes, a queen. Just say it again because I. Right there. Someone, chocolate chip said, offer a draw. Funny. That would be funny if I just. Do. Is I don't know. All right, easy. And the no brain move is this, right?
Mhm. Very good.
Oh boy, I'm scared. Run it back. All right. I'm not leaving any pieces without something to. Every piece in this game. Activate your rooks. Try to. I mean, it shouldn't be like right. You want my knife? Sure, why not? No! What? Ah. I'm gonna rage quit if he keeps doing this. There shouldn't fine. Don't tell. What do I?
Okay.
That? Okay. Like when he does this. He always puts his queen to work and just pin my king. So annoying. I'm just gonna literally move all my pieces over here, so he just can't. I mean, I'm just gonna throw them What? What the heck? Why is it so easy for a queen to checkmate a king? How do I have so many pieces there and not a single one checkmate a king? Why is it? All my pieces over here. We just can't. I mean, I'm just gonna throw them. What? Take your queen right now. What is this?
Got to look. The one thing you should not have done. You remember how everything had to be defended? You just forgot to look at what my queen was attacking.
I was so focused on defending pieces, yeah. Well, how? I just assumed there's like 4 pieces surrounding your queen. I swear you're doing like mind control.
Everything was good.
Yep. You guys are funny. All right. I don't even. I'm so.
True.
Should be. Oh, we're I don't like that he has his rook and his queen lined up. I mean, there's something protecting this pawn I'm about to move, so I don't see how it's a bad move. All right, he's right back to where he was. Okay, there we go. All right,
Okay.
another pawn down. Another pawn down. Okay. Okay. Make my. Take that pawn.
There are some ideas here that I have.
What can I do to stop him? Pray for me. I move my.
It's not a bad move.
God. Worth. Oh God. Swear to God, if he would have checkmated me right there, I literally would have just quit. Oh wait, you got the pawn, the bishop double attack. Processing. The best move would be to move my bishop, right, to e3.
It's a move, yeah.
You would just. All right, he pre-moved. That's annoying. I wish I would just move my queen over there just to try to predict it. Gosh, I had a feeling he would pre-move it too. One of these days, I'm gonna predict it. It's gonna be a big IQ play.
Well, normally when I do a pre-move, it's something where it won't be a mistake, even if you expect it.
But if I had moved my queen to a2, then that would have screwed you. Okay. Dude, I have so many pieces. Please don't lose. Oh no. Oh no. If I move my king to g2 to protect the knight, and then he moves his rook over, what happens? Checkmate? I don't know. Well, then he takes. Frick. We'll just do that. Okay. All right, we're making progress. All right, I'm still +8 with this stupid freaking rook to worry about. All right, so can I go there? there's some way he can just like pin me or something. I don't know. Gonna do that. What's this, John? Oh boy, what do I do? The heck away from me! No. Go. I'm like, my brain is churning right now. Cheer me on, chat. Let's go. Oh, what the heck was that for? All right. Well, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right, this is about as far as I could think. No. No. Do. Shoot. Time is dwindling.
You're doing well. You're doing well.
We're just gonna do that. I'll do this. Oh. I'm scared. Help. Did that do anything? Oh god. Protect.
Good move.
Wait, gonna take that. Okay. No. Oh wait, no. Pressure. That. Oh god.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
There we go. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I almost just lost it. Ah! Scary. Oh, draw? What the heck? Alright. Does that count as a win, or do I have to beat you again?
Oh no. So actually, just at the very end, just if you go one move before the end, the way that you could have won that was to move the rook over instead of putting the queen on that g6 square, and then you moved the queen over to h5 on the next one. It's just winning by force.
Alright, you could have just let me have my win. Ah.
You should have won that game. There was a forced technique to make a win there. There was just a forced way.
Oh gosh dang it.
But you should have won that game. Let me see if we have any other odds. Let me see.
Dang. So close, but yet so far.
Actually, I have to run.
Chat.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a move. I'll make one move and run to the restroom. I'll be right back. Just make a move and I'll
Okay.
make one move. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Chat, I was doing so well. Alright, so chat, help me while he's gone. Help me figure out what I do. Dude, this dude has a queen and 3 pawns. What do I do? Trade everything. Don't suck. I'm gonna find out next time. Can Mr. Beast not stalemate Hikaru?
Remember one thing though. What you're doing here is you're not actually putting the king in check. So there's a very high risk if you don't check of the king at some point not having any squares. So just be aware of that.
So just put you in check every time?
You don't have to, but it's one of those things when your opponent has very little material that you do want to do.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Ah! Do I just put it here? What? I don't like this. This is too hard. You're too good at chess. It
Checkmate
doesn't
em
make
um
sense.
aqui, porra. Aqui, ó.
I don't know. What do I do? I don't want to stalemate. I feel like this should be obvious. I just don't want to stalemate again. Is this it? I don't freaking know.
Okay.
Meu
That's
Deus
a
do
move.
céu.
That's a move.
Ele
It
é
is a
muito
move.
ruim,
I
meu.
agree. It's a move. I don't know what to do.
Mas é milionário.
No, he's
Só
not
acho que
winning
ele
with the king.
tem
I'm just.
a
I have plenty of
liberdade
pieces. I'm just
poética
joshing
pra ser
around.
ruim no xadrez.
Just having fun.
Oh no, 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 no.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
No.
I quit. I'm not even playing anymore. I don't like chess. I retire. I quit. I quit.
Do you remember?
Ah, o bispo. Mas é milionário.
Remember the one rule? I told you one rule, which is with very few pieces, you want to put the king in check. You want to always threaten to capture the king.
No, I quit. I'm done. I'm done. This is. I suck. I thank you for confirming. And
UFC 272, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Thus begins the Drake curse. Although losing back-to-back against the dominant champion Kamaru Usman, Masvidal still retains his BMF status as a fighter and fights Colby Covington. I can literally go into a 1-hour deep dive into their relationship alone, but let's keep this simple. Drake lost his bet as Colby won via unanimous decision.
49-46, 50-44, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
But it did make fight of the night, so there's that. Drake put down $275,000 for Masvidal to win, but obviously you saw the result. We will also go through a journey showing the overall loss or profit Drake has with each entry. So far, he is down $275,000, which would have paid a lot considering Masvidal was an underdog in that fight. UFC 274, Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. I just want to shout out the people who collected this data before we carry on. I got all of this info from a website literally called thedrakecurse.com and a business called Stadia Agency. A full-on business wanted to shame Drake's gambling addiction. I kinda love it. But back to Justin versus Charles. This was Charles' title run where people thought he was about to get his chin checked real bad by the brawler Justin Gaethje. Charles already has a weak chin, but his strength as a fighter pulls him through till the finish. But considering he missed weight and was stripped off the title, maybe this weight cut might weaken his chin even more. But in comes the lucky Drake curse to save the day. Justin got brutally knocked down and submitted in round 1. Although Justin landed his own highlights and knockdowns, so we can't take that credit away, Drake still made the bet on Justin Gaethje. He put a full-on $427,000, which is nearly double the last bet, and lost, making it a total loss so far of minus $702K. I wish I had that amount of money to play with. UFC 276, Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. Adesanya and Drake are known to be boys a bit, so you know Drake bets on every Adesanya fight. And a lot too. Adesanya further cements his champion legacy fighting Jared Cannonier. He's the last contender before he actually laps the division, but also known to be quite dangerous because he was an ex-heavyweight and an ex-light heavyweight fighter. And during that time, Izzy only had one loss in his UFC career, and that was against the light heavyweight Jan. So there was a bit of tension on what was going to happen in this one. Izzy played it safe like the past few title defenses, where he had the dominant range and spammed leg kicks. I can see some new UFC fans not remembering this fight because, yeah, this fight is never promoted because there was literally no highlight.
49-46, 49-46, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision, Adesanya.
No, I was just talking. I know. Well, you're getting paid for this fight, right? Oh, absolutely.
And the crowd was disappointed. But in contrast, Drake was the happiest man alive. He bet $1 million for Izzy to win, and he got back $285,000. Oh, sorry, $285,714 profit, which is also Drake's first ever UFC bet that was betting on the favorite. Actually, I take my word back. I am not 100% sure if Justin Gaethje was the favorite or underdog, because there was a lot of forward and back during the hype of that fight. But anyway, Drake making his total betting career just down $416,286. UFC Fight Night, Blades vs. Aspinall, Molly McCann and Paddy Pimblett. This was a very strange card to bet on, considering there are many recent UFC pay-per-views that Drake did not bet on. So this one, looking back, was kind of weird, a fight night. So he bet on McCann and Pimblett to win. I don't know the proper terms because I'm not a gambling addict, but I think that's called having two legs, which according to the data was still quite a probable outcome. So let's start with Molly McCann. She was a hype train during this time, and people were thinking she might be the champion. Her last fight before this was a performance of the night, and one before that was fight of the night. So when she fought again, today, she won performance of the night again. She TKO'd Hannah Goldie in the third round via spinning elbow and punches. We were witnessing the woman Yuri Prochazka. That's two back-to-back spinning back elbow finishes. It's just sad to think just 2 years after this fight, she retired. And let's go to Paddy. He fought against the flamboyant, even more flamboyant than Paddy, the Jordan Levitt, and won via submission in the second round. He also promised to teabag his opponent too. He is a man of his word. Drake laid $2,296,211 on them to win on this card, which is a very, very specific amount for some reason, and he won back $3,723,077, earning a profit of $1,426,866 that night, which is a lot for such a random bet for the superstar artist Drake. Okay, Drake literally got back $3.7 million on a fight card, which that whole event's total ticket gate sales was $4.3 million. But yeah, anyway, the total journey's total amount now is $1,010,580 in the positive now. So he is uncursed. UFC 278, Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. So Drake bet on two separate tickets for this fight. He wanted Usman to beat Leon in round 4 and if not, at least KO him. I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people lost their money in this fight, so I don't blame the Drake curse here. He dropped $149,000 for the KO and $49,790 for the win in round 4. We all knew what happened though.
Headshot dead. Headshot dead, brother.
So he is down $198,790 that day, which is weird because Usman was considered the welterweight GOAT at the time and also a superstar himself, especially when he was a guest actor in Black Panther. So in retrospect, Drake bet 20 times the amount of money on Paddy and Molly to win on a fight night. That is a bit odd. But anyway, his total now is a positive $811,790. UFC 278 as well. Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. Also on the same day, Jose Aldo fought against Merab. which in 2022, not many people cared about this fight. As far as I could remember at least, Jose Aldo was still doing good being ranked 3 at the time and is fighting Marab, who was ranked 6th at the time. Drake probably didn't even know what a Marab was and thought this was easy money. So he dropped $238,934 for Aldo to win.
Logo contra
Sadly, he
o
lost
homem,
that bet as
viado.
well, as Aldo could not get any rhythm going to win the fight. Bet for the let's break it down. Izzy was also owed for the division, stood his ground, and won. So let's break this one. He had so many 56. Good stuff about this fight. As far as I could remember at least, Jose Aldo was still doing good being ranked 3 at the time. Probably didn't even know what a Marab was and thought $134 for Aldo to win. Sadly, he lost that bet as well, as Aldo could not get any rhythm going to win the fight. Although Aldo defended all 16 takedowns from the machine, which is still one of the best things to say about a fighter right now. But he still lost to dominance. The winner by unanimous decision was Marab, meaning Drake lost $238,934, so the total now is a positive $572,856.
Good stuff, Marab. Wow, he's actually putting on a chain representing his country. Why would you? I wouldn't. If I was the president of Georgia, I'd say take that fucking chain off. We don't want you representing us.
UFC 281, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira 1. Yes, I did tell you Drake and Izzy are boys, but wait until further down the video because something really weird happens. And I'm not saying that because I'm a YouTuber wanting you to stay for like the retention time and shit. No, this is actually kind of weird. So anyway, jumping into UFC 281, probably the best fight Izzy
Será
had
que ele vai
in a
apostar
very,
no
very long
Poatan na
time.
segunda luta,
Let's break
velho?
it down. Izzy was the favorite and he was actually winning the fight, rocking Pereira bad at the end of round 1 and then winning on the scorecards debatably for 2, 3, and 4. And in comes Pereira, who never went 5 rounds MMA before, just TKO'd the champion. Drake dropped $1,595,464, which was kind of a good bet for Drake because it was probably what most people thought anyway and what people bet on. Izzy had so many MMA fights in the UFC, so MMA math kind of said Izzy by decision. But yeah, Drake kicked in super hard in the last minute for this. And now Drake is back in debt. He is in the negatives. Negative $1,022,611. Also, out of all the bets Drake has made, that is the most money he has lost in a single betting slip. 1.5 million is a lot. UFC 285, John Jones versus Cyril Gane.
Aqui ele vai ganhar, não é
Just 4 months
possível.
later, a bigger star enters the octagon. John Jones makes his heavyweight debut for the title, and against Cyril Gane, the #1 contender and also,
Só falta o cara apostar no
conveniently,
Cyril
the
Gane.
only fighter that does not have any form of ground game credential. Drake made quite an interesting bet here. He made 2 bets where it was John Jones to KO Gane, what the fuck, or John Jones to submit Gane.
Ele
I'm
não
not
vê
too
MMA
sure about
nisso.
this, but why not just bet on John Jones to finish Cyril Gane? Or did he calculate that the profits will be higher if he did it this way? Because it's even more confusing, because with each ticket, he bet the same amount of money, 250K. So
Não, é
that
um
just makes
retardo
me even
mental
more
absoluto do
confused why
Drake,
he
mano.
didn't just bet one ticket saying John Jones by finish.
Ele
But
não
that's
ganhou
fine,
nada.
because we all knew John Jones was going to beat Gane easily.
Ele perdeu o dinheiro, mano. Ele perdeu o
So let's
dinheiro,
break
eu
this
acho.
one down. He lost the betting ticket where it was Jones by KO. So he
O cara
lost
jogou 250
250K.
mil
But he
dólares no
won the
lixo, mano.
submission finish ticket. So
Ah,
he
tá.
got
Era
back
mais.
$1.7
Caralho.
million, which is
Era
$1,450,000
muito grande a
profit.
odd.
And now, combine that with his betting career, and we get a net positive now. Drake is uncursed and is now in the green with $177,389.
1 milhão e
Thank you, John
700
Jones.
e tá
UFC 287,
no
Jorge
verde assim
Masvidal
mil.
versus Gilbert Burns. Masvidal was still a star no matter what. We all know he peaked years ago, but maybe Masvidal can turn the tides one last time because he was basically known for it. He fights Gilbert Burns, who is also old for the division, stood his ground, and won via unanimous decision. Masvidal just looked old and sloppy now. He turned into the fat lion, but that is also fair enough.
30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for the winner by
Vai unanimous decision.
Gilbert Miami.
That was his fourth loss in a row, and he decided to hang up the gloves as well. Drake put down 2 betting tickets again, where he wanted Masvidal to win and Masvidal to KO Burns. So this one is easy to break down because none of that happened. So that is a loss of $500K that evening, bringing us to a total of minus $322,611. Drake
Tá
is
certa essa
officially
conta,
back
hein?
to being cursed. UFC 287, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Oh man,
Achei que era
Drake really needed this one. The MMA rematch between the
33, mano.
middleweight titans, Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So Drake bet on Izzy to win and also Izzy by KO, which was crazy.
Ah,
The odds of
beitou.
Izzy to win this time was very,
Beitou.
very slight. He was a super slight favorite, but that was because he was basically winning the fight last time until the round 5 TKO. So it was favorable to pick Izzy to win and mostly to win by decision. But Drake also bet on Izzy to win by KO, which was a super underdog result in terms of betting.
Não, foi
So
clutch.
in
Foi
round 2,
clutch.
Izzy was getting backed up against the cage, and an
Drake
older,
clutch.
super dehydrated Alex Pereira just started teeing off. Because why would he not? He's 3-0 against the guy at this moment of time. And then comes the KO.
Fingiu de morto pra comer o cu do coveiro. Toma.
That was one of the craziest ways for someone to win their bout back. And here's a cool Easter egg. This is during the commentary of the Jared Cannonier fight years ago.
And when we see Izzy get knockouts, he's in the center. He's not knocking people out with his back against the side of the octagon. You got to move him backwards. You got to pressure him a little bit.
And Izzy won against the cage by knockout, and also that time in the first round of their first fight. So Alex was actually quite arrogant when it came to pressure fighting and wasn't respecting the counters in that situation. And let's get back to Drake. He must be a very happy man right now. He won the normal winning slip, which he laid $500K and got $885K back. So that's a profit of $385K. And his KO betting ticket, he bet $400K and got back $1.84 million, which is a profit of $1.44 million. So that fight had a profit of $1,825,000. And if we carry that to his betting UFC career, Drake is back in the green, being positive $1,502,389. UFC 290, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Even though Volk lost his chance to be double champ, people still believed in him to be a featherweight GOAT anyway. Volk was matched against the interim champ at the time, Yair Rodriguez. During the time of this recording, Tom Aspinall is still set to fight John Jones, despite him being the interim champ. So it shouldn't be rare in this modern setting, but it just reminds me that it is actually normal for the interim champ to fight the champion. Like the matchmakings should be due to book as soon as it was established that there was an interim champ. Isn't that like the whole point? But yeah, anyway, Drake bid on Volk to win. And also another slip for Volk to win via KO/TKO.
Louco, mano.
So to win by TKO/KO was a good bet with a high return because Volk wasn't really known as the power puncher, which still holds a bit true because it was Volk via ground and pound and didn't really shut Yair's lights out. And also, he didn't really KO any top contenders as champ with a giant statement of his power. But also, to be fair, the Korean Zombie and Max Holloway are in their own tier in terms of chin, so there's also that.
Muito
So winning by
arriscado
KO was a
apostar
big
pro
return,
Volk
with Drake
ganhar
bet
de
250k and got back
nocaute.
$712,500 with a profit of 462,500. I'm just, dude, I've been saying a lot of freaking numbers. I don't even know how to say them properly at this point. And let's not forget the
Do
actual bet
KO.
for Volk to win in general. He threw down $1 million and got back
esse é o
$1,270,000. So that was a profit of 270k. And now adding all the profits from that fight into Drake's UFC wallet, we have $2,234,889. This is the richest he's been so far. Since we made it this far into the video, it doesn't really feel like I'm forced to say this, because it's not the start of the video anymore, so it's not really precaution. But this is for the younger and impressionable people watching the video. This is not a way to make money, okay? Gambling isn't overall bad for you. Yes, we are literally seeing Drake in real time, literally making $2 million just now. But he has money to play with. He can literally lose $100 million, and that won't really tarnish anything from him. So in terms of making it proportionate to the average man, he is up like $200 or $2,000, which is kind of nothing. So gambling companies don't give a shit how much you are up or down. They are trying to build a relationship with you. They want you to be addicted. They want you to be gambling in general. They want it to be a lifestyle, which is why gambling addiction is more prominent in the West, okay? Because the most impressionable UFC fan is normally someone in the West, a teenager, Andrew Tate wannabe, who wants to drive off into the sunset with this random surge of fame and wealth. And gambling companies can sell you that dream pretty easily. Don't think you are beating the system because you are up like 25k or something. The more you interact with these gambling corporations, they will be the ones winning because you will always be coming back to lose at some point. So yeah, I've done the most I can as a YouTuber, so let's move on. UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. Drake, for some reason, has an interest in the bantamweight division. Of course, all of Drake's bets are sponsored, kind of. It's so much fuck you play money, it doesn't really matter. But the most interesting part is that he bet on Aljamain to beat Sean O'Malley. For some reason, maybe it's just me, because of the artificial boost of Sean O'Malley already as a fighter. So I thought DraftKings or whatever sponsors Drake will make Drake bet on O'Malley for, marketing exposure. And also, Sean O'Malley just looks like a rapper as well, so maybe it's just me. So Drake put down 500k on Aljamain to beat Sean, which Aljo was a big favorite in that fight. I was there to witness the hype, and I also completely forgot he was the giant favorite. I'm just going to assume Aljo had MMA math on his side, being a dominant wrestler that can stop Sean O'Malley. So round 2, Sean KO'd Aljamain and got the win.
Toma.
That's 500k down the drain, and Drake is at a $1,734,889, which is still a high amount. UFC 293, Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Here is something we knew to expect. Drake is consistently being Izzy's boy when he put down Izzy to KO Sean Strickland. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just one betting slip. Not win, to KO him. That is insane, but also not unexpected.
Não é uma boa
I think
aposta,
all of
mano.
us were riding off the
Sean
recent
Strickland
KO
muito
high,
difícil
where
nocautear
Izzy
ele.
got that
Só
KO
potão.
win against Alex Pereira. So with an insane
Oh,
resume
meu,
now,
a
and Izzy
descendo no
fighting
cauteou
someone
Poitin,
like
se
Sean
fizer
Strickland,
matemática.
I think most fans were actually expecting a crazy highlight KO from Izzy. But sadly, that did not happen. Instead, he was the one that got highlighted.
Olha, eu vou pra passear. Toma 2. Toma 2. 2, toma.
$49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision. And
So Drake put down 500k for this too, which isn't really a lot for an Izzy bet, but then again, he bet on that to be a KO, bringing his total wallet down to $1,234,889. I remember this early where everyone was just so confused on what happened. Everyone thought Izzy just had an off night. But also at the same time, there was a lot of people saying Sean saved the division and he just beat Izzy fair and square. I don't even know if Sean Strickland himself thought he was going to beat Izzy.
But I didn't really take much damage other than checking a few kicks. But yeah, I still can't quite wrap my head around it, you guys. I thought it'd be a lot harder.
UFC 296, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Another super random bet. He's just doing singular bets on a single card. He bet on Leon Edwards to KO Colby Covington. I mean, who doesn't? But in hindsight, Leon was not going to KO him. Was Leon Edwards 100 times better than Colby Covington that night? Yes, but that doesn't mean he was going to finish him. Leon has a bad track record of finishing fights. And now looking back, especially in 2025, that Usman KO was once in a lifetime miracle, with all due respect. But going back to the fight, Leon Edwards won by decision, meaning Drake lost his bet. So he is down 250k that night. Therefore, he is on a 3 betting loss streak, making the total $984,889. UFC 297, Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis.
Vai botar no short streak.
Okay, Drake cannot catch a break here. During this fight, I think everybody wasn't really sure who was going to win. It was pretty much a pick'em 50-50. And when we watched the fight, it was super even as well.
O
Sean
Sean foi
was more
roubado nessa
defensive
luta.
and picked his shots
Foi
very
roubado.
accurately sometimes, but DDP had so much more output where it looked good as well. It ended with a split decision win where DDP became the new middleweight champion. Drake put
Aí eu
down
acho
a
que o Sean
whopping
ganhou essa luta. Depois ele foi
700K
amassado, né?
for Sean Strickland to
Levou
beat
uma aula do
Dricus du
DDP.
Plessis,
Do
just
P.
to lose it
Diddy,
all,
ao
making the
contrário
total
de
wallet
DDP.
$284,889. Drake is going to need a lifesaver next. UFC 300, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. We
Agora não
enter
tem como ele
UFC
perder isso.
300, one of the most iconic cards in the modern era. I'm actually quite
Alex
surprised
Pereira
Drake only
nocaute.
bet on this fight for this card. I was expecting him to at least bet on the Justin Gaethje Max Holloway fight as well. But this is fine because he was actually cooking here. He put down 675k for Alex Pereira to win by KO. That's
Presente. Presente, Jamal
675
Hill. Quer dizer,
G's.
presente Drake.
Meaning Drake was going to be in the negatives if he lost this bet. But luckily for him, in round 1, Alex slept Jamal Hill.
Vai dormir, Felipe. Vamos naná. Brutal, filho.
That
Sobrou
675k
nada pro
turned into
Betinha.
$1,194,750, making it a $519,750 profit, and making his total amount for his whole UFC betting career $804,639 in the positive. UFC 305, Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis. Very solid bet for Drake to bet on Izzy to win. It was a good break since the Sean fight, and Izzy says he's hungry for the bout again. But DDP has other plans.
Oh, Izzy said, now stand and fight now.
Little Max Holloway downward point, big right hand, 3 in a row for Du Plessis. And
Vou
now
finalizar o
Adesanya
Izzy.
down.
Straight to throwing one hook in.
Dá o
Let's see.
pescocinho.
Got the choke.
Dá o pescoço.
Got the choke.
Dá o pescoço aqui, filho.
Oh, he gets it done.
Still,
Oh, my God.
South Africa, Dricus Du
Wow.
Plessis remains the man at 185.
Drake put 450k for him to beat Dricus du Plessis. Decision,
Dricus.
submission, KO, whatever, just win. And sadly, it did not happen, and DDP is still the middleweight champion. So 450k went to the Shadow Realm, turning his total $354,639. It's not looking too good. This is actually the last bet on Izzy as well, meaning Drake did not bet on Izzy versus Imavov. I made a video showing that Izzy's speed and heart has peaked and he aged, and everybody gave me freaking shit in that video. Alright, where are you now? Where are you now? I only have comments of the people coming back to say I was right. Okay? That is just a reflection on the community. This community is a little bit sad because ever since Alex Pereira lost by decision against Ankalaev, It feels like there's been zero content on Alex Pereira now. It feels like I have not seen any Alex content for what feels like a whole year. It's like he's retired or something. But going back, Izzy's career isn't just going down. His relationship with Drake is too. Drake didn't even have the attention to be a hater. He skipped that whole skeptical arc like we all did. He just dipped. UFC 309, John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. And for the final entry, we have John Jones to KO Stipe. Nope, not John Jones to win, not John Jones by submission,
Caralho.
specifically John Jones to KO Stipe.
Deitou
Which is a very
muito,
good
filho.
bet, by the way. But damn, did Drake see the future or something? It does seem obvious now in hindsight because it is kind of easy to KO a literal old man. But Drake's last John Jones bet was, John Jones to beat Gunn by KO or submission. So this is odd where it was just specifically KO. Of course, John Jones destroyed Stipe and Drake won the bet. He put on 450k and won back 954k, making that a profit of 504k. So his wallet at the end of this journey was $858,000. Oh, sorry, $858,639. Since
Porra, achei que
UFC
ia ser
309,
negativo,
I
mano.
was hoping for Drake to bet on Izzy against Imavov or, maybe Alex versus Ankalaev, but surprisingly not. And not to mention the unconfirmedness of Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, so, Drake isn't looking forward to that anytime soon. So yeah, I have no prediction on what fight he wants to bet on next.
A
Sponsored.
gente, com a informação do futuro, já sabe que o Drake perdeu mais uma, né? Ele apostou no Charles Oliveira. Ele apostou no Charles Oliveira pra ganhar da Topuria, infelizmente. Não rolou. Perdeu 200k. Ganhou essa, Volkanovski contra Diego Lopes. Ele fez duas apostas depois do bagulho. Ganhou mais 370 e perdeu 200k no Charlinho. E aí, Luquinhas? Nem vi você entrando, mano.